Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lockbeard Random Live number 16. Welcome to everyone. Let's check out Chad, uh, Jeff. Welcome. Timmy Boy. Welcome. Bones. Hiveless. Bat Mom. Annette. Um, see if we got anyone else. Got Tom Paul Cajun. Yeah. I was just looking at the chat over at Facebook and not seeing some of the comments. You have to switch over to the other type. You got to switch over to live chat to see some of y'all's comments. Two of them I noticed that did not, YouTube cut out some of the stuff you guys are saying. Like this comment didn't show up until I switched to chat, and neither did this one for some reason. Like YouTube's trying to censor stuff like that. They don't like that F word, I guess. But I don't care. Yeah, Jeff, it was. But I'm not surprised. A wizard is never late. But you are so hurried. Yeah, Hiveless. Yeah. So, let's see. Hiveless says the intro music makes me feel epic. I may go and slay something. I encourage slaying things. That's a good thing. Some things need slayed. Jeff says it did that on Western my Bigfoot the other night. Facebook chat wasn't on YouTube. Live chat didn't integrate. Yeah. So Lockbeard Random Live number 14 has been taken down by YouTube. They didn't like it. I appealed it, and they upheld their decision to take down the video. They said I was giving medical advice, so it was in violation of their community guidelines. So that's what they do. They silence people saying certain things so they can control the narrative and direct people to thinking a certain way. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, they're all together manipulating what the populace thinks. And they have control of things that they shouldn't have control of in this way, through manipulation, through propaganda. They shouldn't be allowed to do this. People say, well, it's their website, and I'm like, no. They when they're dealing with me as a U.S. citizen, they should have to respect the U.S. Constitution in regards to me. Period. Maybe you can make an argument for it if it was a really small site, but they're way too big. These big websites like this have become the new center of town, the town square. And they're just too big. And if you're the town square, I'm sorry, the U.S. Constitution applies to me. And whatever the equivalent is in your country, for those of you in other countries. But I think they should just allow free expression across the board. whenever I do say something that's medically relevant, I always say I'm not a doctor, I'm not giving medical advice, do your own research, all that stuff. So I don't know how much more careful I need to be in the future about what I say, but I guess I'll try. I see Sandra Piper's here. Welcome. Judy Wheeler, I don't know if I said hi to you yet, but welcome. So I got canceled. My video got canceled. Now they said it was just a warning, and the first time is just a warning, so it's not a official strike. But it's alarming. When if I'm telling you things that I'm pretty certain some of the things I've said in the past will save lives, but they don't want to do that. They want to make money off of you, off your illness, off your suffering. And they got, some people are going to die, to maintain the fear or whatever it is, of course, so that you always seek medical attention. Jeff says, it seems there's always someone lined up to get butthurt about anything anyone says, especially on here. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But, they're just, proving your legitimacy, when they attack you, because they don't have anything else. They can't logic their way around it. And then you say the slightest thing to offend people. Some people just, yeah, you're right, they get all kinds of butt hurt, and they will do things to try to attack you, and that's a wrongful attack. Petty and it's just ridiculous. Judy says, whoa, what? Oh, so crazy scary. Yeah. And Jen's here. Welcome. Is Bigfoot Anon here? Yeah, Bigfoot Anon is here. Welcome. Saying stay holistic, everyone. The Squatching Cowboy. Welcome again, man. So, Hiveless. I think I already said hi to you, though. So, welcome, everyone. Well, things like this just encourage me to keep pushing. So, it's not, if they think they're going to stop me, they're sorely mistaken. Or anyone else. They think they're going to stop you. Yeah, it's just, I was just watching something to Sasquatch about, and some of this was coming up, and it was said, these people, they'll block you from their channel, and they think they really got you. And of course, my response is, yeah, I definitely feel that, several channels have blocked me, but long before I started my channel. So, they thought they were shutting me up, but here I am. Just kind of gave me, a little more of a push to start my own channel. And you know what? They can't stop me on my channel. They can try. They can try reporting me and all kinds of stuff. But I'll just navigate those kind of things and keep on going. Thanks, Annette. Swatch Cowboy says, just want to thank all who donated to my trip last night. Y'all are great. Yeah. Thanks, Judy. Timmy Boy says, I was in the chat on something to Sasquatch about, and the vax came up, and I said I should have the choice, and it surprised. And I said I should have the choice, and it surprised me. What surprised you? What they said, and did they respond to you, Timmy Boy? Because I wasn't keeping up with chat very well over there. You absolutely should have the choice. And of course, I gotta be careful what I say, what my personal thoughts are. But I've said it before, so I do not trust it. We need to keep pushing forward. Yeah, they're violating our rights. Yes. Iveless says they should change their name to BitchTube. Yeah. And this is something a lot of people can get together, people from vastly different backgrounds and who've been canceled by big tech. Really should be banding together about this to put an end to it. Let people say what they want. Let the chips fall where they may. People have always said what they want. The world didn't end. Free expression is important. And the founding fathers, knew what they were doing. Even unpopular speech should be protected, because sometimes the unpopular speech is true. Judy says we must all be in surveillance. Yeah, they want us all monitored. Judy won't be able to make the conference, Joe. Hyla says my FBI agent is in bits often. I'm very funny. That would be the key. Words that causes us grief. Whoops. Naked and what? Judy says, I said that very thing on Beast Channel just LOL a little while ago. I'm not sure which thing you're referring to, but pushing. Batmom says, why or what made you want to call out people's BS on here? I'm sick of them lying to me. I'm sick of them muddying the water. We're trying to find the answers, and we got these people, lying and spreading nonsense, and we can't, as some people have put it, move the ball down the field. And most people are being pretty nice about it, and my feelings been for a very long time that being nice doesn't always solve the problem. Um, pulling your punches when you just need to knock the shit out of someone. You just need to do it. And I will take on any of these assholes. And I say that word because some of them are very much assholes. There's no way around it. Jeff says, for the record, I don't have an issue with anyone with a channel on YouTube. At times we'll agree, at times we won't. If you don't want me to comment when we don't, may as well ban me now. Yeah. Those other channels ban you. You come in here, you can disagree with me. I don't care. I believe very strongly in free expression, and these other channels who are who have banned me and don't like what I'm saying, and some of their minions being here trying to attack me, and I don't care if y'all attack me. I don't care if you disagree with me. No matter how much you say to me you don't like what I'm doing, doesn't matter. I'm doing what I think needs to be done, and I'm going to keep doing it. And the harder you come at me, the harder I'm going to push back. So you might as well just run, I guess. If we can see that someone's a hoaxer, a liar, a thief, or whatever you're doing, I'm coming for you. You're in the wrong. You're just mad that you're getting called out. Not you, Jeff, but these others. Timmy says, yeah, they did. All of them said something I was wrong. My rights infringe on theirs. It's a dumb, uneducated choice. They done it in a very dismissive way. Yeah. Well, you're gonna get that, man, from people. They think everybody has to get the jab, and I've tried to explain on here why, in general, it's bad if you don't have a comprehensive program for adjusting for the side effects on the species and on individuals. It will come back to bite us in the ass. Oh, you can believe it. Because we do everything just, it's all half-assed. These things are half-assed. We find out later on a lot of things that it's, I mean, look at like hand sanitizer. Before the thing happened last year, people were starting to figure out, because everyone thought, oh, killing germs on my hands, this is a good thing. And then people were using it, and they started to find out that it was causing people's immune systems to be less resilient. Your immune system's designed to be challenged constantly, so it can upgrade to deal with the germs around you. Using hand sanitizer was a bad thing, and people were starting to figure it out. That's just one of so many examples. So, don't let them bother you. A lot of people will be that way about it. You gotta try and think things through, and they just don't all the time. I don't know if I talked about, there was an organization that thought they were going to fight slavery in Africa. A lot of people don't realize there's still slavery in Africa right now. See, it was never destroyed in the whole world. It just in our country and Europe and some others. But so their plan was, well, we'll just go buy all the slaves and turn them free. Holy shit, you guys didn't think this through. It sounds great on the surface. We're going to turn all these slaves free. We just got to go, we'll just go buy them. No, what you don't understand. You're not thinking things through. And so what happened was they turned these former slaves free. They went home to their villages where they came from, and then the slave dealers, where'd they get those slaves? They raided them from villages, and they went and raided those same villages again, took many of the same people back into slavery, and then those people got sold back to that organization again in some cases. Except at a higher price, because when you start a bunch of buying in any kind of economy, you stimulate the economy. Demand has in effect gone up, and the price went up. So they're paying, I don't know, something like 3 times more for the slaves. They didn't do anything to stop slavery. They helped it. The jab is the same thing. A lot of people aren't going to be able to see the bigger picture about this, but the jab is the same thing. Judy says, have to keep pushing forward and stick together is what I said. There's too many of us as a nation. Yeah. If we keep on, we'll win one of these days, hopefully. Truman Show. We the people, not sheep. Is fine. Death jab is not fine. Did they? They're the real monsters. Jeff Harding says some channels want to call you out in chat simply because you disagree. It's childish. Nothing stops a team from winning like a couple of prima donnas, and there's more than a few in our community. Yeah. Oh yeah. The reaction. I didn't know if I was going to have that much reaction, but I'm starting to see that apparently there's a little bit of a reaction, which tells me they're scared. Because like I said, some of these other channels might talk about hoaxers, but they're kind of pulling their punches, which is cool if they want to choose to do that. And they're starting to see that I am not going to do that. I'm going to come at them hard, and I'm going to take out any hoaxer I uncover. And they can bitch and whine about it, because if I expose them, too fucking bad. I'm sorry. You freaking lied to me. That was your first mistake. Don't lie to me. Don't get them on here thinking you can just lie and no one's going to say anything about it. I will say something about it. So, I have no problem telling them right here, I am coming for you. And the harder you come back at me to try and stop me, the harder I'm coming after you. So run. Run. It's just like Truth Seeker coming on here the other night, Truth Seeker just got on my damn radar is all you did. Now, I don't know who you are yet. Probably figure it out eventually, maybe. A lot of times these things come out. But you saw my reaction. I just made a whole damn show out of it. Screw it. Made me feel like there was definitely something I need to look more closely at. So I did. And that's what I'm going to keep doing. So all you other channels, those of you that banned me and you're, I know you're lurking. Of course you're lurking. I know some of the people that are here right now are on friendly terms with you guys, and some of them are probably making a report to you. I don't care. They're free to do that. I don't care. But if you come at me, I'm going to come back at you twice as hard. And I'm sure some of them are saying the same thing. But I think I got righteousness on my side. I'm not trying to lie. I'm trying to take out the liars. I'm not banning people from my chat. I value freedom of expression. You guys don't. You're anti-free expression. That makes you anti-American in my eyes. And you don't want to know how dim a view I take on that. Flat Rock Booger says courts have already started taking kids from their moms for not taking it. Oh, man. Yeah, see? They're breaking up see? And these people that are having a problem with me, they support this crap. They are supporting the cancel culture and all this bullshit. And it's all part of this criminal, corrupt government that is breaking up families. I don't think it's too much of a stretch for me to say that these people are aiding and abetting these criminals that are doing this to these families. I'm talking to all y'all that banned me. You're all the same. You all you care about is if you get content, because you need guests to get content. I haven't had any guests. I'm just getting on here and ranting and talking about some dumb shit that y'all are spreading and proliferating and drawing these little inconvenient conclusions for you that you're part of a system that is corrupt and goddamn evil. Jen says, I've been saying that for years about hand sanitizer. Everyone I know that uses it all the time gets sick more often. Yes, yeah. Then all of a sudden, hand sanitizer sales just skyrocketed, didn't they? You know how much hand sanitizer I used after this pandemic happened? 0. No, I don't wear no damn muzzle. I traveled all the way across the South to Florida. No one bugged me. The South is great. No one bugged me about not wearing one. And I wasn't going to. And if they tell me I can't come in without one, guess what? I'm not coming in. I'll go take my business somewhere else. Because you're a goddamn moron. If you're willing to turn away business with this bullshit, man, it's making me mad. It's making me mad. Yeah. This is like therapy for people who are too weird for therapy. Thanks, Dr. Lockbeard. You're welcome. On occasion, I've wondered if I, of course, where would I get the money to, it takes a lot of money to go to college. I'm still paying for the 7 years I spent earlier in life. I spent a lot. I took a wide variety of courses. I have a debilitating thirst for knowledge, insatiable thirst for knowledge about such a wide range of subjects. It's hard for me to focus on one thing. I mean, it's probably some kind of disorder. I could probably be diagnosed with something. And I didn't want to leave college for a long time. And but what I was saying was I kind of wonder if What if I? What? Maybe I should try to. Maybe I should buckle down and try to go get a doctor. Go become a doctor. Then they can't. If they try to do that medical advice bullshit on me, I'll just tell them. So, well, here's my credentials, bitch. Um, I was watching Ken Wheeler's one of Ken Wheeler's videos at some time, and where he was kind of talking about that. I'm going to mention Ken Wheeler a lot. I think he's a very intelligent guy, and he's got a lot of good stuff to say. And he believes in a lot of the things that I do in regards to liberty, and he's one of the very few people in the world that know certain things about how the universe works that I had figured out when I was younger. And anyway, he was talking about that. So he is saying, he don't trust the doctors and stuff, and he's saying if I spend 1,000 hours researching for myself on a certain medical issue, I'm probably a better authority than those doctors. Just because he don't have the degree doesn't mean he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about and what he's doing. And I agree. Now some people, some people can't do that. Like some people can't self-direct their personal, independent study like that. But some people can. So, to completely dismiss a person because they don't got the degree, is not always correct. But you just kind of need to make sure that person has in fact properly educated themselves on the subject. Flat Rock Booger, welcome to chat. Timmy says, I kept on until they started with no COVID, no politics on here. Then I told them I'd be quiet. Yeah, some people are afraid to talk that stuff. I don't think YouTube would take down the video for stuff said in chat. So, whereas I probably need to be careful how I word things and exactly what I say. I'm not going to be worried about what you say in chat until I learn otherwise. And I've heard that they might try to do that or something where they make me responsible for what you guys say and could possibly take the channel down, which would force me to have mods, and I don't want to have mods. I've seen it too many times. The channel gets some mods, and then some mods go 1940s Germany power trip on somebody because they don't like something they said, and it's not a justified ban, and they ban people, and it's happened to me, it's happened to others, and I just don't want to deal with it. I don't want to moderate at all. Just you say what you want. If someone don't like what you say, they can attack you and just enjoy it. Nobody's hitting anyone with clubs here. It's just words, right? Well, I'm getting way behind in chat, aren't I? Timmy, can I ask which channel? Flat Rock, I can't wait to hear your encounters. Come January, they're going to start threatening jail time to get the jab, in my opinion. What, in America? If it gets that bad, I'm probably heading to the woods. A lot of people will be arming for war. You can't do that in America. You just can't. It'll turn violent real quick. That was on purpose. What was on purpose? I believe I stay firm. I can believe it. Stay firm. It was a diversion. Free speech. 3 hots and a cot for me, I guess. Truth Seeker hit a few chats and got his ass told off. Staying status quo is easier and comfortable. We are here to chat about all this, not harming anyone. Yeah. Talking about life. Truth Seeker is not really a seeker of truth. I don't think so. He was mad that I brought up the hoax thing in regards to Wes Germer. And as you saw, the result was I focused on Wes Germer's hoax on the next Lockbeard phenomenon. And that's going to be my response every time someone does something like that. So, Hiveless says, taking kids from folks for not having the clot shot is pure evil. Hell is going to be jam-packed after this. Yeah. Judy says, I've gotten brave about speaking my mind more now than ever I did before. Hell, I'm so tired of the cover-ups. Yeah. I'm friends with Daniela and Duke. As long as truth is spoken and not truth as your emotions see it, then it's all good. I would say that there are some things you don't know. And I'll just leave it at that. I'll say this. Daniela has been unfair with me. And the word wretched will always come to my mind when I'm thinking about her. She's got a lot of you fooled thinking she's just this nice, sweet person. Nope. And I don't apologize for that. And Duke's a prick too. I'm sorry. And he's full of shit. I'm sorry. Now you said, well, you know, he believes what he's saying. If he believes what he's saying, he's got problems. The dude claims he knows that there are several types of Bigfoot. We don't have one on the slab. We haven't conclusively, like, truly proven that they exist. We don't have an actual biological, we don't have a specimen. And somehow he knows that there's these different types. He's got them all figured out. He's as bad as some of these other ones. I don't believe he believes what he's saying. I think he's just making all this shit up and that he's a fucking liar. And sorry, but I don't like either one of them. And I'm sorry. You're welcome here. I mean, you know, I don't care if you're friends, you know, with them. A lot of people come in here and they're still on good terms with them. They may not like some of the things I have to say about them and may not want to come in here anymore, and that's their choice. I understand. I get it. You know, you got to stick with your tribe. That's how humans survived for many thousands of years. You fought to the death for your tribe because it was your tribe, even if your tribe was wrong. But you can choose to change tribes, so there's that too. But I know that a lot of people are pretty heavily invested in they've watched these channels, World Bigfoot Radio and Bigfoot Odyssey and Hidden Existence for a very long time. They're heavily invested. And it takes a bit of swallowing of pride to admit that you were so engrossed in a channel that that was a bullshit zone. I mean, I used to watch Bigfoot Odyssey a lot, and I have no problem admitting that. And now I know that it was just not the place I needed to be. I wasn't going to get any answers. So much bullshit goes on over there. You know, I was mistaken to watch it. So, Icon says somebody called for a moron. Howdy, Icon. Hey, Icon, welcome. Lockbeard, who were they talking about when you commented that all they wanted was the content? Oh, yeah, they were afraid to say which channel. I believe they were talking about Bigfoot Odyssey when they had the guy on there that was damn near having a full-on mental breakdown. And I agree with the panel that they should not have had that guy on. He was not in a place to be put live on the goddamn channel. But fucking Kerry only cares about having goddamn content. If he had any feeling for that guy, he wouldn't have put him on fucking air. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Kerry. Y'all, I mean, whoever your friends are in chat, I know they're going to run to you and tell you, fuck you, Kerry. That was a bullshit piece of shit move that you did. You don't put someone like that on air. God damn it. He needed help. He didn't need to fucking talk to you on your show so you could have some fucking content. You fucking dick. Shit. Damn it. I'm not afraid to say that. I don't remember the guy's name, though, the guest. But I agree with Leon that probably shouldn't say that guy's name. You know, he shouldn't have been on the show at all. Fuck. Excuse my French, everybody. Saying being brave and lying easy, standing in person. Icon. Well, that's true. It's a lot easier than in person. It's your childhood backs. It causes your disorder like yeah, probably so. Apple phone loving window lickers, they'd be everywhere. Yeah. Yep. People don't believe there's a connection. I can't say it because I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. But some of the doctors I showed you pictures of the last time, they're actual doctors, and they are saying that. So, you know, YouTube, go to hell. Thank God he doesn't have an unquenchable thirst for blood. How do you know? We people need to speak up. We do. We need to speak up. We need to be angry. Everyone should be angry. Freedom is under attack. Everyone should be angry. Yes, but people need to know the facts before they speak, because otherwise they look stupid as hell. Icon says, it's interesting that you have this topic this evening. One of the tractor forums I participate in just shut down its coffee shop this AM. Too much politics claimed. Yeah, people can't even talk anymore. It's crazy. Politics are relevant. They affect everything in our lives. It needs to be talked about. If we're not talking about it, we're not sorting things out. But see, that's part of the game. They don't want us sorting things out. They don't want Democrats and Republicans, your average citizens, to figure out that they're both being manipulated by a uniparty. It's not two parties. They just act like they're two parties. This is all part of the plan. It's divide and conquer. Classic divide and conquer. And that's what they're doing. They don't want us talking too much because we'll start sorting it out. That's how you sort things out. You talk. You argue. Maybe you even physically fight. Hyla says, if you do ever need mods, give me a spanner. I just want a spanner. So Mr. Lee kept I don't. He may be here already. I haven't. I'm way behind chat. But Mr. Lee was always trying to convince some channels to make me a mod, and I'm like, no, don't give me a wrench. If I'm holding a wrench, it means I'm going to have to do some work I don't want to do. I don't like doing auto mechanics. I hate it. Mr. Lee is an example of someone who I think he's still a mod over at Bigfoot Odyssey, but I'm not attacking him for that. That's his business, and he seems to be supportive here, and that's cool too. I'm glad, and it doesn't matter. But yeah, the other side doesn't think like that. Judy says, I wanted to be an archaeologist since I was born. I wanted to understand and uncover all the mysteries of the world. Yeah, me too. I'm a mod. I don't block, but I don't block unless they start a bunch of shit in the chat. Yeah, I don't care if they start shit here. Go ahead. We'll sort it out. Yeah. The Bigfoot community oftentimes reminds me of junior high. Half the kids think they're smarter than they are, and half don't realize they're starting to stink. Yeah. You block everyone. Timmy says, I love how you think you're going to catch up with the chat. Yeah, probably not. I'm probably going to have to give up on trying to read most of them. No one would have thought they would lose their child for not taking a jab. So yeah, I say jail threats coming in January. Already doing that in Australia. Yeah, there's some people down there claiming that things aren't that bad. Someone mentioned somewhere, I can't remember where, I think it wasn't online too. Actually, no, it wasn't online. Anyway, he mentioned that, it's an entire country that was a penal colony. So the way the country started might have had long-lasting implications on the mindset of the people. They might be more willing to accept some of this stuff, that'd be a big thing to go into, how, because it's damn true, when you look at the ability of the experiences you have, your body can create molecules that will pass on to the kid, so it's not in your nuclear DNA, and then actually pass on almost memory to the children, and they can pass on for multiple generations. They've shown these in studies. Something that happens to you can affect your grandchildren, an experience that you've had. So maybe that's why some Australians feel like everything's okay. Like what I'm calling, detention camps. They're not. The government's not calling it that. They're calling it different things. But that sounds less ominous. But let's be real. That's what they're building. Duke is a line with weird stuff. Oh yeah. More coffee. Yeah. We're not comfortable people anymore since this overtake COVID. It made us prisoners in our own home. Yeah. And they're trying to train us all to run into our little box. on command. They're trying to train everybody. All they got to do is say, oh, there's a new variant. And people are running and hiding. Fearful people. That's not a way to live. Walk out of your houses. Push back. Resist. Hey, Brandy. Thanks for coming. Oh, yes, I seen. Show made me cry. Yeah, I'm way behind in this dang chat, ain't I? See how far back I am. I guess I'm going to skim like crazy because I am so damn far. In fact, it just skipped up. It won't even skip up to where I was. So I'm sorry if I miss your chats. There's just so many now that I can't keep up. Well, see, I've been there. Maybe it didn't jump that far. Yeah, maybe it didn't jump that far. Yeah, that's where I was at. Just straight up great truth telling. Thank you, Lockbeard. You a man of courage. Well, I don't think of myself as that. I just speaking my mind. Yeah. So I think I found where I was at. Yeah. Yeah, it was. Not sure, but telling the platform your show is on to go to hell. Well, I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people. A lot of people talking shit on the platform. The platform, look, they need to be told that they need to stop. Twitter, Facebook, same thing. Like I don't know, like Joe Rogan hosted an episode. Yeah, he hosted an episode and where he had the Twitter people on there. I forget their names now, and then Tim Pool, and then Tim Pool was, they were having a civilized conversation about it, but man, Tim Pool wanted to rip them a new one, and they were just defending their actions. They thought it was just fine. Shit's getting forwarded if no one cares about me or what I think. They might care more than you think, Judy. Say what you think. The shield that protects the wrong from the right. Yeah. Bones, thanks for all the subbing and my and Paula's channel. That was a good surprise. I didn't plan that. It just kind of happened, Brandy. Yeah. And yeah, I did. Man, we were on for 5 hours. I was tired. I should have remembered to mention it was Brandy and Paula. That's their channel together. Hyla says demon rats, rhinos, establishment globalist whores. I don't know. My voice text is making me sound crazy tonight. Was that person Mark Barton from the Trail to Bigfoot? I don't remember his name, actually. I just remember seeing that, and yeah, it was bullshit. Julie says absolutely division to split the masses up so that one has to be able to stand up for themselves. That way makes it so much harder. They don't want us to figure out that if we start talking, we will know that we together are more powerful than the government. Yeah. Yeah, but the way they got things going now, every time you try to talk, it just immediately turns into a fight. And so if that's where we're at, maybe there needs to be a big fight. We had one before, and in my opinion, the wrong side won, but maybe those tables will be turned one of these days. Good evening, Sasquatch Wizard and Ardex. Isla says 4 a.m. in the UK. Mr. Lee isn't as hardcore as me, just saying. Oh. I'm so damn worried about my 4 grandchildren. They're all under, I imagine you mean 9 years old. I can't see the type. Gee, that's weird. Not sure what you're saying. Timmy's like, why jab when the survival rate is 98%? Yeah. Yeah, there's more reasons than that, I don't believe that number. I don't believe the thing was real. Until we all stand up and stop waiting for someone else to fight your fight, government will continue to take our rights away and be no better than Russia or China. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to slow down. It's good that there's people here and saying what they want to say. Yeah, a lot of people can't handle the truth. Yeah. Seems like I just saw that one. Judy Wheeler says, because this to state that your grandkids are under. I think that was just a typo. Yeah, it's helpful autocorrect. I have a good gene pool. Long lived. Hell, I did catch up with chat. Either that or the stream's been shut down. And I just haven't caught on yet. Amen. No one can stand up for our fight other than ourselves. Iveless says Lockbeard's real-time correction of the chats makes it impressive. At least 105? Damn. Yeah. Bigfoot and Cryptids next. Next is Brandy and Paula's channel. Yeah. Just goes out and finds strange things in the woods. So now it looks like either I've caught up or the chat has been shut down. Which is it? Saying what they want to say. Yeah. I'll go over here. Shut down. Which is it? It don't look like we're shut down. So I guess y'all guys slow down and chat or something. Just subscribe. Can't wait to watch, he says. Yeah, caught up. So yeah, I'm kind of getting paranoid now. They might shut me down midstream. That's happened to people. Shut down right in the middle of their show. Yep, sure did, Bones. So I don't know. I imagine there's people organizing to push back on all this stuff, though. big tech can't be allowed to keep doing this stuff. I think that it's legitimate to say that that these platforms have become the town square, and in the town square, freedom of expression is protected. So YouTube, Twitter, Facebook cannot censor, but they're doing it to manipulate what you think. I don't think I'd ever go to Disneyland. Disney's bad news. Every time they get a hold of a movie franchise, they ruin it. Yeah, you slow down. Do anything. Jeff says I'm about to jump on another YouTube ID and sub to Lock so you can break 100. Yeah, I hit 100, but lost a couple subs. Probably because either YouTube was sending people out again because they take away subs sometimes, or I pissed off a couple people on Saturday night. Even your phones would crash. Cookie for Jeff. Judy says, I heard a topic today on Sasquatch and our human DNA. Typo is what attracts them. I don't know how anyone would know that. You know, my first thought on that is maybe someone was trying to come up with an original theory so they could get attention. Like, oh, this is something I haven't heard before. They're attracted to people with type O. And then all the people out there that have type O that are interested in this stuff, suddenly their ears perk up. And they're like, oh, that makes me special somehow. And, you know, I don't know. I don't see how they could possibly know that. You know, if there was a way to know for sure which people had legitimate sightings that claimed sightings, and you were able to test them, all of them, then maybe you could know that if it were true. But I just don't see any way how anyone could possibly know that. Timmy says, what did I miss? My wife thinks the smoke detector is a timer, and I had to had to fight a small fire. Gonna have some burnt dinner, I guess. Judy says, maybe we need our landlines back. Yeah, we might have been better off. I don't know. I know that cell phones have become like a leash. You know, occasionally I still get people that are like, why didn't you answer your phone? I'm like, well, because I was at the gym and I left my phone in the locker because I don't like carrying it around on me all the time. Or I left it in the car. So I don't like having it on me all the time. I don't need to be reached 24/7. If I'm asleep, I'm not going to wake up and answer the damn phone. I'm sleeping. I sleep maybe 5 hours, and I see no reason to interrupt that. Sometimes I try to get down to 3 hours. I need to buckle down and try to work on reduced sleep conditioning again. I haven't really worked on it in a long time. I'd read different things about this over the years, and in 2004 or 5, I was opening up a new complex. It was 6 buildings, 5 of them with actual residents, and then a clubhouse, dormitories for the university. They just built them, and I was the one opening it up for them, and it was an extremely time-consuming ordeal, and I needed more hours in a day. I had too much shit to do. And so I thought, well, this is a good time to actually put this into practice. Because, we've all been told, oh, you're supposed to get 8 hours a night. Here to tell you, bullshit. um, the key is don't sleep in on the weekends. That's why Monday mornings suck for a lot of people, because they sleep in on the weekends and they have a hard time getting up on Monday. You mess with your body's rhythm. Wake up at the same time every day and go to sleep at the same time every day. And so if you say your target is 5 hours like mine was at the time, just pick a time and then just make yourself wake up in 5 hours. After a couple of weeks, I was waking up before the alarm. I didn't need the alarm anymore. Your body adapts and learns to do what it needs to do in 5 hours instead of 8. It's just like lifting weights or anything else. You adapt and then you adjust, and then you can do it. So, a lot of successful people in the past have slept very little. Some that come to mind, Donald Trump, he's a 5-hour a night guy. Margaret Thatcher was 3 hours a night. Nikola Tesla was 2 hours a night. He was probably the most brilliant scientist of the last century. So I recommend it. If you need more time, it's, and once you get set into it, and you just sleep less. I remember when I was young, there was a movie called Real Genius, and it had like Val Kilmer, but there was a female character who they called her hyperkinetic. She didn't sleep at all, ever. She didn't need to, and I always thought that was cool. It's like, to imagine how much more time to do stuff that you would have. Because if you think about it, if you sleep 8 hours a night, once you're 90 years old, you've slept 30 years. That just seems like a waste of time. So if there's a way to avoid having to sleep, then, or at least sleep as much, then I'm all for it. I don't know if you can completely eliminate it. Now, unless you ask Sadhguru, you look up Sadhguru online, and he talks, like somebody asked him like about sleeping less or something like that. It's like she asked him, how do you sleep less and get more effective sleep or something like that? And his response were, you don't have to sleep, you have to rest. So I took that to mean that people can't just enter into a restful state. They're not used to doing it. The only way to get that rest is for your body to render you unconscious. Because no one can, in a waking state, truly rest. So, I don't know if he's referring to some kind of meditative practice or what, but that'd be cool to figure it out, though. They may have. Yeah. I don't know. I think it was probably pissed off people. And then my response is the same. We're just keeping the quality. That makes them half human, Yeah. I'm the same way with phone, couldn't care less. Brandy says my ears perked up when somebody mentioned the RH negative factor. Yeah. Are you RH negative? See, I don't see any proof that, because I know people make claims about that, and I don't know. I don't see any evidence for those claims, but it's just a blood group, you know. And where that originated, I haven't been interested enough to try and figure out where it originated. It's probably someone that had RH blood, negative blood, and wanted to create the narrative that made them feel special because of it, But it's just a blood type, It's, uh, bring back landlines. Those people could be aliens or some shit. I want to know if I'm alien. I don't think you're alien. Jeff says he sleeps 4 hours a night, then black out for an hour at some point during the day. Well, that could be blood sugar. That's what if I'm sitting down, like if I'm sitting at the computer or something, or if I'm driving, like if I'm not up and doing stuff, and it's like after I've had a meal that's got a lot of carbs in it, because my blood sugar does a little roller coaster ride, and when it comes down to the low, it goes way too low, and then I always thought I was just taking a nap after lunch or something, but now I know I was probably in a diabetic coma just about every day. So it could be that, Now, if I don't eat carbs, that don't happen. I don't want to fall asleep at all. I'm awake and alert. But if I eat carbs, maybe 45 minutes later, if I'm sitting down, I'm gone. I said driving a car because it would if I was driving, it's just I'm not being active enough. Driving's just not active, and so it would be almost a life and death struggle to stay awake. So after I fell asleep once behind a car, and I woke up because the car hit the curb, and when I woke up, I found myself driving down the median in front of Walmart in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Luckily, nothing bad happened, and that was in my 20s, and I had no idea I had blood sugar problem. But now I do. So, after that happened, though, like anytime I start to get drowsy driving, because I know, when your blood sugar gets down in the 50s, if you're trying to fight passing out, good luck. And so I pull over. I don't care if I'm on a tow road or wherever I'm at. I pull over and just go to sleep in the damn car until my blood sugar gets straightened back out, because it's just too dangerous. I have to ask everyone, get through okay. Sleeping patterns are reverse. I'm an insomniac. Hyla says I sleep 20 minutes every night, then black out for 7 hours at some point during the day. Oh boy. Can't stop my brain. Yeah, some people have that problem. With all that's going on in the world, yeah. You too. I'd love my alone time to think. I'm just saying, if I'm an alien, I'm entitled to a spacecraft. I believe you are. I think that's like it's in the Constitution or some shit. Timmy says, it seems like most people on this channel don't sleep much. Because we're the elite. Flat Rock says, and Albie, after seeing the footage of LA, so much damage there, man, I can't imagine all the people who have lost everything, like I did with her. Michael said, SAD, what? Not sure what that said. Uh-oh, it's begun. Uh, Jeff says Doug Adjusek on his radio show talked about time. Why does it go so fast when you're older? It's about percentages. As a kid, there's so much percentage of expected life left, so it seems to take longer. Older faster. Yeah. Yes, Brandy, a spacecraft and space reparations, just call the Federation. In the Constitution, yeah. It's got to be. Iva says, Flat Rick Booger, a hurricane called Michael sounds like it'll be a breeze. Should have been called Hurricane Dickhead. Yeah, I guess it's hurricane season. Mother Nature's going to try and take you out. Judy says, we hear so much all day long that I think we play catch up at night. Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, no talking about the forbidden subjects. Burn the books. In a way, that's kind of what they're doing. Like your channel, if you create all this content, this is the output of your time and your work, your creativity. And if they destroy the channel, that's like burning a book. We're in book burning times. It isn't books we're after now. It's stuff like this. Hurricane Lockbeard, everyone evacuate for sure. You better believe it. If I was a hurricane, man, I'd mess some people up. Yeah. Hurricanes shouldn't be a problem for us, but our society doesn't prepare. They keep building houses the same way that can't withstand them, and the same here in Oklahoma with tornadoes and stuff. People are like, well, every year we get a tornado warning and tornadoes will come nearby, but our house has been standing here for 90 years, so we're going to be fine. Sooner or later, that house's number is going to be up. Maybe 100 years, maybe 200 years, or it may be tomorrow. You don't know that. So why not just build houses that can withstand it? Why not build the underground homes like I've been talking about? Hopefully I'll have enough income in the future to start building some homes according to the specifications that I've had in mind for a long time. Where, because I kind of want to get into the rental business. I helped my buddy with his. Like, at first he bought a house and we remodeled it and he flipped it, and then he thought, well, I'll just keep the houses, and instead of flipping them, I'll just rent them. And it's been a very successful business. I helped him remodel almost all of his houses, and he's done really well. And I kind of want to get into the same business, but I want to build them the way I want to build them. And an underground house, it would be no big deal for me to, because I can list it. I can advertise it. All bill. All bills paid or something. But because heating and cooling isn't going to cost hardly anything in an underground house, so just include it and then probably just have the same rent. And I think people jump on that and like it. So have my choice of tenants, can be more selective, because a lot of people want to live in them because I want to do some interesting stuff with them. Similar some similar things to like the Hobbits, and the Lord of the Rings. I think a lot of people think that's just cool as hell and want to live in a Hobbit house. Wouldn't be exactly like that, but it'd be somewhat similar. And for their family to be safe, like that, the home's not gonna, a tornado's not gonna touch the home. They don't have to run to a shelter if a tornado comes through. They can just pop in a movie, and keep living their life. So there's just so many benefits to it. Of course, it's concrete, so it's not going to burn. It's not going to rot. Bugs aren't going to eat it. Termites aren't going to be a problem. It's better in so many ways. Ness says we can't even believe some books nowadays. Yeah. You finally caught up. Now what? Whiskey shots? I don't know. Tomorrow we're all doomed. Yeah, we could be. At any time when we're just totally not prepared. Rum shots, he's a pirate. Yeah. Well, if I was a pirate, I don't know. I don't know if I'd drink if I was a pirate or not. I don't drink, so it's kind of, I might be a bad pirate. Mojito's in. Greetings to Danny Stanton. Judy says, I do worry there's going to be a devastating situation that's heading straight at us, thinking about a war between humanity being destroyed as we know it. Yeah. I kind of have a feeling that that's our only way out of our current situation with our corrupt governments, that they have technology at their disposal and so many resources at their command that we couldn't win if we were to fight back, and that there's no way out of it. And to me, then it would be preferable if an asteroid hit the planet tomorrow. Destroying the power of that government. Most of the people on the planet, yeah, but at least the people left over would not be subjugated anymore. Jimmy says, ever read a high school textbook? It's fairy tale. Yeah. Danny says, I'm in line to get the remains of that freaking hurricane in the morning, and we're on the east side of the warnings already started. Huh. Be careful. Lay low, take cover. Pybla says, I literally live where Tolkien got inspiration for The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, just saying. Are the people that have those kind of homes there, though? I didn't think that there were, but it could be. Thought they built that. New Zealand looks like New Zealand's where they did it, right? But you're saying where you're at's where the inspiration came from? Yeah. Yeah, if you build it round, and that way the wind can divert around it. If you got flat surfaces, it just runs up against it and pushes on it. But when you got a rounded surface, it allows it to flow around. Um, people are just stuck in their ways, and they're used to living in what they've been living in. And years ago, I had a friend that didn't like the idea of solar panels because she didn't like the way they looked. Do you like the way shingles look? I mean, are shingles really that? I mean, do you stand outside your house and marvel at the beauty of your shingles? I mean, it's all it is a barrier between you and the weather. It's not, the choice between the top of my roof, which I never look at. I'm inside the house when I'm there. I'm inside the house most of the time. I'm looking at the ceiling. If anything, I'm not looking at the top of the damn house. So you'd give up energy independence because you don't like the way solar panels look. It's your choice, but and see, if government wanted to do some of its socialist stuff, it could help people afford or maybe financing, arrange for the financing so that you still pay your normal electric bill, but you're paying on the solar power system on your house. And then so eventually there's an end to your electric bill. Well, they don't want that. They want you to be paying for the rest of your life. And the government doesn't want to work that hard, don't care that much about the people to help them achieve energy independence on a grand scale. They do some stuff, but I think it's just because there's been outcry, so they have to make it look like they're trying. They could do much better. And in a state like mine, where we have net metering, and for those that don't know, net metering is where if you have solar panels in your house or any other kind of energy production, if you overproduce, the power company is required to pay you appropriately for that electricity that you're spilling over back into the grid. You have to have a special meter, but to do that safely, but they're required. So you better believe the power company does not want you doing that. So, but luckily in our state, that's a thing. Never read the book. I'm talking about Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. I never read the book either. I just watched the movies. When I was reading those kind of books when I was younger, I was reading other authors. I had heard about Lord of the Rings, but there were other things that attracted my attention more than that did, so I never got around to reading it. Jeff says, unprepared 25K roads, generators, wilderness, food, and sheer will. Yeah, I see you're more Viking. You're more Viking as a Viking. I see you more as a Viking than a pirate. I wasn't reading that right at all for a second there. Maybe. Um, I've actually on occasion encountered people that called me that. I walked into a liquor store not too long ago for the first time in like 10 years because I wasn't there for me. I was going out to meet my buddy, at his by the lake, and or no, that wasn't what we were doing. We were doing something. It doesn't matter what we were doing. Anyway, he was way out in the middle of nowhere, and and I was on my way there. So he was like, "Would you stop and get me this at the liquor store?" So I was like, "Okay." And I walk in there, and the clerk called me a Viking, and me neither, but I saw the films. Very smart indeed. Danny says, I just need 4 hours warning to get to my brother's bunker. He's prepared for anything 50 feet underground. Dang. Yeah. Florida would have to get a good scouring. But I do have one question about that though. Like, because if the water, how's he? Because if you get too much water, something like that could either fill up with water, or if it's sealed well enough that it won't fill up with water. If the groundwater comes up, it could float up out of the ground. Although 50 feet down, it's going to be held down pretty well. But if something really big happened, um, scoured off enough soil on the surface. I mean, he's pretty damn safe 50 feet under. I just wonder about that. Johnny Appleseed. Yeah. Well, if everybody had underground houses, they would effectively have a kind of a bunker as a house. Them hobbits had it right, just live underground. It'll be comfortable temperature pretty much year round. Really easy to maintain comfortable temperatures. Safe from storms. Deer can graze on top of your house instead of it just being a barren wasteland of shingles. All these roofs we build, because the water hits it, runs off, and quickly goes down to the creeks and then into the rivers, and it makes flooding worse by a certain degree. And the roads and the parking lot, we make the flooding worse. Like, someone got mad at me about saying we could change things to make it where the flooding wasn't as bad. And they're like, no, this is Mother Nature. You can't stop Mother Nature. I didn't say that. You're going to have a lot of water at certain times of the year in certain places, but we make it worse. And that's just one of the ways that we make it worse. There's other ways that we make it worse. The floods we experience are worse than they should be. I'm not saying Mother Nature isn't going to dump a bunch of rain sometimes and create some level of flooding. I'm saying the floods are worse and it's our fault. They don't have to be so bad. And we can do a lot of things to change that if we just had the will as a civilization and work together to do that. But instead we do other things. Our government has plenty of other socialistic things to do and wars to fight. So Hybla says the Hobbit home question. He wrote the books inspired by the landscape of the Sarah Hole Mill, Birmingham. Okay. Judy says, "See, LOL, I'm talking about so much stuff with y'all that I haven't done with hardly anyone. This channel, Lockbeards, is awesome." Thank you. Hyla says, "Judy Wheeler, this channel is very educational. Also, lots of free advertising." Free advertising? Yeah, you mean like for other channels? Yeah, why not? I don't have any problem promoting other channels that I like, and um, you know, for the most part, they're not at the same time as what I'm doing. I mean, with the random lies, I'm just doing them whenever. But the Lockbeard phenomena, I chose that time specifically to avoid, for the most part, other shows with the same subject because I didn't want to compete with them, and but even if there's another show on at the same time that I think's good, I mean, I don't begrudge people for going. Watch what you like the best. You know, it's it's freedom. It's the way it should be. Oops. Remote viewing, Lockbeard. Are you practicing this? No, I'm not. Um, I'd like to see some more concrete proof. I feel like it's real, but I haven't seen it actually work. I don't know for sure. I'd like to see some proof of it working. Put the gin down. You're a good girl. Jeff says, "Brandy, just yell ice cream and I'll send you cords to mine." Annette says, "Jeff, me too on the ice cream." Judy says, "No, I don't care much for gin. It's been a long time since I tried a glass." Weather weapons. Uh-oh. Bringing up more conspiracies. Oh, I'm sure they can affect weather quite a bit. I mean, they've had cloud seeding forever, and I have no doubt they got more advanced stuff at their disposal. But I can't say for sure. Yep. Ice cream, Lieutenant Dan. Ice cream. Seen a lot of that hive. Freezing up. And that says, "I recorded a storm that had 5 echoes after the thunder." 5. So what's that mean? CIA forgot to turn the reverb off. That must be it. That is very considerate, Lockbeard. What was? Did I say something considerate? And that it was not normal. That's why I recorded it. Huh. That's weird. I don't I mean, could it be a result of the topography in the area? Um, maybe the sound bouncing off various mountains at different distances or something like that. Chocolate chip ice cream. Waves. Waves. Hiveless knows what Ken Wheeler says about when waves come up, right? Waves of what? Waves of what? Jeff Harding, cherry nut here, Judy. Interesting in that. And Icon too, if Icon's here. Waves of what? So if the thunder hit, it sounded 5 times the same sound. He's like, yep. Waves of what? No mountains. Yep, waves of what? Everybody, most people here are probably confused. What the fuck are they talking about? Exactly, Icon. Amber waves of grain. See, that's better. Waves of grain. Waves of what? Your channel on at this time works well. Cool. Yeah, hopefully I can get something more regular once I figure out what's going to happen job wise. I'll be doing quite a bit of traveling. With this company, we'll be traveling 600-mile radius and staying in a lot of hotels. But hotels usually have Wi-Fi, so and then they said I would have my own room, so everything should work out. Waves of bullshit. Yep, exactly. Got it. Waves of what? Perturbation of the etheric field. I don't spell it just with the E, though. I spell Aether. I like that spelling better to differentiate it from the other ether. Jeff says, Judy, I need a channel live until 3 a.m. I don't know if I can keep that up. If I got to be up early in the morning to work, I don't know if I can do that. Yeah, I don't know if I can. Ether, sorry. Oh, you spell it however you want. I just saying that I spell it that way because to differentiate it from the other type of ether. 3 a.m. is crazy, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not gonna do. I won't be able to do that. We may have to chat on Facebook sometime, Judy. How does Ken put it? He does that thing sometimes. He does this and he says, "What is this? A wave?" No, it's my freaking hand. A wave is what something does, not what something is. And he's talking about how in mainstream science they try to define certain things as being a wave, as if a wave is actually a thing. Waves of what? It but they try to make it out like a wave is a thing, like it's an, it's just crazy. Just meant we are night people. Kind of like with light, they try to say light is a wave. Well, they try to say it's a wave and a particle, but it can't. It can't be either. Damn it! They were like, well, it must be either or, and then they did the experiment, and the experiment, depending on the circumstances, showed particles sometimes and waves sometimes. And they're like, well, shit. And instead of thinking, maybe we shouldn't have assumed it was either a particle or a wave, and we need to go back to the drawing board and figure out some new experiments to try and figure out what light actually is. They didn't do that. They just threw their hands up and said, oh, it must be both. That's got to be one of the most moronic things. No. Nothing can be both a particle and a wave. That's just utter ridiculousness. But it's even funnier because light is really neither. So, ain't putting on her jammies yet. I'm in my jammies. Jeff says, if you're traveling the speed of light and you flip your headlights on, would anything happen? Break the universe or something? I don't know. But see, speed of light isn't just one speed. Well, it isn't the speed at all. That's the funny thing. It's not even. It's not a speed. But that's what they have interpreted. The best they can, and so they tell everyone, "Oh, this is the speed of light." And of course, the average person isn't a scientist, so they just kind of have to accept what all them guys say, and then so we end up with a whole society that believes this bullshit, and then you have some person like me trying to say no, it's not, and persons like Ken trying to say no, it's not, and nobody can really, they can't really know whether we're telling the truth or not. So it's just we're screwed. We're stuck. Iva says, Jeff Harding, the quantum cops would do you for speeding. Well, they say you can't actually travel that fast, but Icon says, Jeff Harding, yeah, the lights would come on. Light has no speed. See? Icon knows. Icon knows. You watch Ken's channel. Ken explains all this shit. Correct it. It is a speed at all. I think the headlights would project the normal distance. They would still standing still. I think maybe. Hey, Big Rob. Welcome to the chat. I think I got all my cussing out already. So I'm already starting to feel a little tired too. So getting all the hellos in. Jen's been quiet. She must be up to no good. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So what's light? icon and Hiveless. What is light really? I guess there's different ways of saying what it is, but it's a rate of what? Or a perturbation in the what? Jen says did dishes and lurking. Big Rob says, Locke, I heard you going to make me a mob because I never blocked you. I don't know. I don't know where you heard that. I don't want to make mods at all. I'm afraid YouTube's gonna make people have mods because they'll try and say, well, if you don't got mods controlling what people say in the chat, then you're at fault. Well, that would well, that's true, Iveless. Light is a perturbation in the ether, and it's a rate of induction. Doesn't have a speed. It's not a damn particle. Laughable. It's laughable. It's crazy, and they're teaching people this in school, man. Yeah. I don't think you need mods. I don't think I need no damn mods. But Truth Seeker, he hasn't been back. You deal with trolls by, by taking them down. Well, he wasn't like a straight up troll. Like a real troll is someone. They're not trying to accomplish anything. They're just trying to be, cause chaos and piss people off just for no reason. Truth Seeker was someone that truly did not like me bringing that up. So I hope Truth Seeker comes in. Truth Seeker comes in again to give me another show idea. Ken would say, define a field. Yeah. Yep, define a field. You can't, can you? You can't do it. Jeff says, if you can't prove that every living thing in the universe can actually see light, then it's actually a perception, not an exact thing. That's an interesting way of looking at it. Because, it's really, it's just, it's not some kind of little particle or anything. It's just like a disturbance, but Icon says it's the ether wiggling. Yeah. Ether. Who was the scientist saying that he was churning? He's going to churn up the ether. He's perform experiments, churn up the ether. You're both lurking. He's still seeking. Truth Seeker should change his name to Friend Finder. Icon says, Jeff Harding, no one sees light. You see illuminated objects. Yeah. 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 Glad I got some people from over Ken's channel. Most of these people in here are Bigfoot community. So they probably never heard of Ken's channel. And it brings another dimension in here. Some thought that they're not going to hear. They're not going to hear the Bigfoot community. They're not going to hear from the science teachers. They're not going to hear from Hawking or Neil deGrasse Tyson or PBS. But they're not going to hear it anywhere. And because like you guys, Icon Hivus, there's a guy that wrote a book called Quantum Bigfoot, and it's all about him hypothesizing how Bigfoot does all these weird things that people say it does, and he's trying to explain how Bigfoot can do all that stuff through quantum physics. Holy shit! At least he's trying to approach it scientifically. But the problem is he's using a science that is complete bullshit. Well, maybe not complete, but it's largely bullshit. Shouldn't be quantum Bigfoot. I mean, what would Ken say if he saw the title of that book? Tesla loved to turn up the ether. Yeah. It's Tesla, wasn't it? If I'm remembering right. Damn it. friend seeker. Oh, spooky action at a distance. Yeah. That is an important thing right there. Spooky action at a distance. Quantum Bigfoot. Oh boy. You see what I mean? Yeah, you look that up. I'm not remembering the guy's name right now, but he wrote a book called Quantum Bigfoot. And there's people out there buying it, and it sounds good because these people aren't quantum physicists, so they just kind of have to believe it when he says, "Well, see, this could be possible through the quantum physics, right, And they're not quantum physicists, and even if they were quantum physicists, they still wouldn't know it's wrong. I mean, there's multiple levels how people aren't going to know that book is completely just not right. It's wrong. Wrong. Quantum entangled hair. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how familiar you guys are with that. There's people that believe that they can cloak. There's people that believe they're hopping through portals and just mind speak, which is what they typically say in the Bigfoot community, but telepathy. Yeah. None of which is I've seen any convincing evidence of, by the way. But Iblis, that's why I keep my hair short. Well, it's funny I'll bring up the hair because there's some that have claimed to have determined that Bigfoot has hollow hair. It's kind of like a polar bear's hair, and then that somehow allows them to bend light around them so that they can cloak like the freaking Predator movie. Try not to fall out of your chairs. I think they just blend in really well, and they know to stay perfectly still when humans are around. That humans will often miss something that isn't camouflaged in plain sight if it's really still, and walk right by it because we're not as observant as we should be. We could easily not notice something. So when if you're look like Bigfoot, you would just blend into the forest really well. So it's just a camouflage issue. I don't think there's cloaking going on. No one's been able to provide any real evidence of that. And I would also point out that polar bears are completely covered in these kind of hairs, and they are perfectly visible. They just look white. The light just bounces back out, and they look white. Now, but it's very insulating, though. It's very insulating. So if you're trying to look at a polar bear with, infrared, um, it makes it harder for the see them, but you can still see the shape and stuff. It doesn't hold water. I heard that that's who it is. Yeah, he's the one that wrote Quantum Bigfoot. Hi, OSB icon sees no LLL minds in two places at once. They're still puffing, smoking, and passing. Oh no, if you have quantum theories about Bigfoot, that means he or she does not exist. Yeah. Quantum physics is fake, and yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm sure he really thinks he's like doing something legit there, but as you and Hiveless and I know, and Ken, no. But he's got his book, and people are buying it, so we got a long way to go. Jeff Harding says, I believe they can shit a beam of light through a portal and it turns into fuel for UFOs to travel to Earth so they can study winged humanoids. That's as good as any theory. Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people really want them to be magical. I think a lot of people really hope for the world, the universe, to be more of a magical place, and just probably not. I mean, there's some weird stuff, but yeah, quantum is fake. I mean, it sounds legit to the average Joe, but a lot of correct observations, but incorrect interpretations, and so while they're sitting there talking about things like space-time and dark matter and quantum foam, frantically doing math trying to make it all balance out, and it never does, and they're like, we still can't achieve grand unification. Well, no, you can't achieve grand unification when you've created puzzle pieces that are just flat wrong. They're wrong. You created parts to something that don't fit together because some of the parts are wrong, and you guys just won't admit it or can't see it. You're so heavily invested in your hypotheses that you can't. You've written books and your reputation's on the line, and I think a lot of these scientists don't want to look like total dumbasses when the truth finally comes out. I mean, they got egos, and I mean, I believed that stuff back in the day. That's what they taught us. But, eventually I couldn't ignore the holes. There's problems. Icon says the quantum theory thing would work if you could quantify an attribute. Yeah. Damn, those damn attributes, man. Too many hits. Expand. You want them to expand? Well, go watch some more Ken. Ken expands endlessly. I mean, I've seen him say the same things over and over and over again so many times. Every one of those live streams that he deletes, I wish he didn't delete them. Um, but people come in every live stream and ask some of the same questions, and I'm like, don't you guys look at the content on the channel? He's got 6,000 videos on the channel. He's presented this stuff before, and you're asking questions that he's already presented. Watch the damn channel. you know, um, we should be able to use the live stream time to dive deeper and to ask things that weren't covered. But in every live stream, people ask him about the Illuminati and bring up drinking for some reason and smoking marijuana and using hallucinogens, or they'll want him to talk about his ex-wife again or his deceased wife again, and I'm like, please stop. I've seen him talk. I've heard him tell his story like I don't know how many times. I've lost count. Or talking about the ex-girlfriend, the crazy ex-girlfriend, like he's talked about her over and over and over again. It's like every live stream you got some people in there. Sometimes I wonder if there's plants in there that are doing that on purpose to keep him from talking about like real scientific issues, because they don't want us to know this stuff, right? There's people out there that they don't want us to know. They want to fill up that time wasted on talking on this stupid shit that's already been covered on the channel or doesn't matter. I don't care about his ex-girlfriend. I mean, I've seen the story. I've seen him talk. I've seen him tell the story before, and okay, it was funny, but I've heard it dozens of times now because people keep asking in the live streams. Oh, Bones, because it's like the hair isn't, but you're making a good point, because the light coming in is white light, it's all the spectrum. So the light coming out is all the spectrum. They're not going to be brown. So, but they're trying to suggest that Bigfoot, which is going to be able to somehow bend light around it almost perfectly to cloak like the predator with less of these hairs than a polar bear has. It don't make any sense. It don't hold water. Jeff says maybe David Copperfield was an albino, mostly bald midget Bigfoot. Maybe. It's just as good as any of the other guesses out there. Icon says to Hive List, quantum theory tries to quantify the ether. The ether has no physical attributes, just attributes. Those attributes are what creates everything, essentially. Yep. Big Rob says, if it looks like poo and smells like poo and tastes like poo, it may be shit. Yep. Yep. Ken needs to learn how to simplify his teaching so everyone can learn in a relatively short amount of time. Yeah, he kind of has the same problem I have. Like, explaining things, like communicating ideas and stuff. Can't do it very effectively. But it's worse for him because he's using a lot of terminology, words that people aren't used to hearing all the time, like perturbation. Most people kind of figure out what that is, but a lot of the words he's using, people don't ever hear at all. And if you say to someone on the street, what do you think about posterior attributes? They're gonna be like, "What the fuck did you just say? What'd you just say to me?" Um, Icon says that which is done, which is does have qualities though. Thoughts. Yep, yep. I believe sentience is one of them. Maybe too deep. Yeah, yeah. You're talking about the universe itself being conscious. See, this is where things get kind of magical, right? Because you start talking about how the universe is actually conscious, every last inch of it, or cubic inch would probably be a better term. Everything's conscious. Everything. So, every individual consciousness as we perceive it is a piece of that one consciousness, which is why um, things get weird when you try to define what are you? Are you atheist? Are you religious? Ken would call himself a monist. Everything is the one. And people, if you call it spirit or soul or whatever, then it becomes magical again. And then I don't know, man. But to me, the that which people perceive as magic is just something that they haven't learned how to explain scientifically yet. Want to think on that? No worries. I try to simplify things, but it doesn't sound like it makes sense, so it trips me up. You have me tripped up too. Yeah. Posterior attributes. Does my butt look big in this? Yeah, that's probably about as far as you get with your regular people on the street. On that, they're not going to know what the fuck you're talking about. But so if someone turns to Ken's channel and they hear the way he's talking, like he can't. I don't know. And he goes on tangents, and so it's just kind of there's a communication barrier to some extent. Well, now Tesla did claim all the knowledge he had was sourced from the universe. Yeah, yeah. Because if he was able to, perceive beyond that barrier, because you're supposed to be separated from the rest of it consciously. Otherwise, all this wouldn't function the way it does. Like, so. People bring up psychedelics on his show all the time because they kind of know that that's a way to kind of tune the dial, because, Ken always uses the radio example for your mind, right? Your mind's not a radio station. It doesn't broadcast the signal. It's a radio. It picks up the signal, and that signal is what you are, right? But Anyway, the but you're not supposed to pick up everything, right? The whole universe. You're not supposed to pick up everything. Otherwise, you wouldn't, be an individual, isolated entity in itself. And uh, with the psychedelics, it kind of fiddles with that barrier, right? And opens it up. Uh, DMT would be like opening the window. 5-MeO DMT is like you blew the walls down on the room and just completely destroyed the structure that was containing you temporarily. And that's why people call it ego death, like they completely forget that they're an individual and they're reconnected to everything temporarily. And of course, once they come back, once the walls come back up, as this individual entity, you have no ability to properly process what you just experienced. So, you do the best you can, but you don't you can't truly understand everything as as a walled off piece of consciousness, what you're supposed to be normally. But to most people, that sounds like some whack, crazy shit I just said. And that just means those people are normal. But it's also sad because we should be learning about this from an early age and understanding what we truly are. And we would accomplish so much more. But we would be less controllable. They need you to be ignorant so that they can control you. Jeff says, no matter where you go, there you are. Buckaroo Banzai. Yeah. Here's a question. Who believes in reincarnation? Icon says, no, yes, sir. Not sure, Judy. My best friend did. Judy says, yep, I'm an old fart farmer that's been recycled a few times. But she died and has not been back. I believe in it, she says. Shit, that was funny. She really did die. If I'm reincarnated into a woman, I hope she's really attractive lesbian. Man. Hyla says, I believe in reincarnation. Big Rob. I can see me coming back as a damn cat. Icon says, I've always liked LSD for that. It returned my radio and I had an extra clear head for a couple weeks after. Yeah. See, when I was young, I always had the impression that these drugs were these horrendously horrible things. They were like hardcore drugs, And, but I've learned better since then. Never tried any of them, but I now feel that they have an ulterior motive for keeping them illegal. They don't want people exploring consciousness and starting to figure out some shit. Now, Ken's right. You can do that without the drugs, but people aren't taught to do that either. So, they're stuck. They're trapped. They're in a prison. But yeah, a lot of people have had very positive benefits from the responsible use of some of these substances. So, um, yeah. They do have 9 lives. I keep coming back until I get it right. I keep getting sidetracked. Yeah. Well, this is another subject I would refer you to Ken on. He talks about this some. You know, it's a cycle, that you go through, and there's been a number of cases where people remembered when they're not supposed to. See, you're not supposed to remember anything outside your current life. That's why things are the way they are. You can't have a unique life experience if you remember all your former lives, and then things get squirrely if that happens. Can you imagine the chaos that would happen if everyone started remembering their former lives, and they're wanting to go find people they knew, their families from their former lives, and it'd just be a mess. This wouldn't function the way correctly. This reality, it'd be a mess. But sometimes it happens, and people remember shit they're not supposed to remember. Something went wrong. You're not supposed to remember it. But I also think there's some cases where they're not actually remembering a former life. They're getting little memories and stuff in different ways, either through the genetic method, I'm forgetting the term for it, but it's where there's information storage molecules in the cell that's passed down from your parents, something that they experienced, or it came from their parents, something that your grandparents experienced. Simple memories can pass down, and then also through somehow you got enough water in you from someone else, and so you might experience memories through that because water stores memory. And there's science showing all this weird shit about water, and this is another thing Ken talks about too. He talks about this shit too. But and that's why, partly why, like if you get a transplant, you might have some personality changes. You might, have some weird little thoughts come into your head, memories, because you might think you just got a kidney. You got more than a kidney. And there's memory in the water in that kidney, and there's also memory in the cells through I'm forgetting the term for it, but it's epigenetics. Look up epigenetics. That's some kind of freaky stuff, but they're showing it to be true. Epigenetics is cool because I think that if we master that, because if you can get simple memory that way, or reactions, like learned behaviors, like they've shown this, experiments. How possible is it for us to improve that to the extent that you have you have epigenetic memory of, like, if your parent had a PhD, you're born with that memory. You're born with a PhD. That would be wild. I don't know if it's possible to take it to that extent, but what if it is? Magic mushrooms, aerial cleaner. Exploring consciousness via hallucinogen does not work for everyone. There are some that are too frail of mind and is detrimental. Yeah. Probably shouldn't just let anyone do that to themselves. They can't handle it. Some people can't handle stuff. That show earlier mentioned a PTSD. One guy might go to war and come back and be just fine. Another guy go to war, go through pretty much the exact same experiences, but he's got PTSD. Different people can't handle the same stuff. You're born with an erased hard drive. Yep. That gun says stick to the gin, but an equivalent operating system. Yeah. But I get little bits of memory that, I've done or been. Yeah. Yeah, if we could learn to tap into that, man, imagine what we could do, If you could remember a lot more about your former lives or remember through other means. If we could tweak our or maybe through training learn to tap into water memory and epigenetic memory and to say a third generation top physicist dies, right, and he's an organ donor and you need an organ, you'd be like, look, I need his organ, because you're going to get a little something extra, and you've learned to tap into it better. Whereas in our society, we haven't learned to tap into that at all. It's completely it's unknown to most people. Tendencies persist. Judy, I think we all have that deja vu thing. We all learned in the Matrix. It's when they changed the Matrix. A lot of people ran with that too. They saw that movie, and then a bunch of people are like, "Oh, we're in the Matrix. This must be real." Of course, a lot of movies that have this. People they see a movie they liked, and then they want it to be real, so they start trying to engage in our friend confirmation bias to make it seem like the movie is actually real in some way. So a bunch of people, like with Matrix, the Matrix was really bad. There's tons of people out there trying to say we're actually in the Matrix and all this stuff, and they just went off the deep end with the Matrix. Jeff says, if you wake up trying to lick your balls and you walk outside and piss on the lawn, your reincarnated past is trying to speak to you. It might be. At least you got an upgrade, arguably. Hyla says, Jen, I was just thinking that. Spell that, please. Jeff Harding, I really hate when that happens. Very interesting. Hi, Bliss. I know things I haven't studied or heard. I don't know how it works, but it's come in handy. When you said spell that, please, are you talking about epigenetics? It's just genetics with EPI in front of it. Um, there's one study they did with mice where they took these mice and they conditioned them that to be afraid of cherry blossoms, I think it was, or apple blossom, some kind of blossom, the smell of a flower. And so they conditioned these rodents that way, and I don't know how they did the conditioning, but they so every time these rodents would smell those blossoms, they would have a fear response. So then they took those rodents and then they, bred them and produced, offspring. And then they took the offspring and then produced another generation. So we're talking about the grandchildren of the mice that got the conditioning. Then they exposed those grandchildren to the smell of the blossoms, and they exhibited the fear response. Now, that wasn't something passed down in nuclear DNA. It had to be passed down somehow. And I'm pretty sure that mice don't tell stories well enough to their offspring saying, look, let me tell you, back in my day, there was this smell. And you've been in a cage your whole life. You've never smelled this. You have no ability to know what the hell I'm explaining to you, but I'm going to describe it the best I can. You need to be afraid of this. I really don't think that's what happened. What happened was epigenetic memory. There is a certain degree of memory passed down epigenetically outside your nuclear DNA. And that's pretty cool. Imagine developed as a way to increase survivability of organisms, because if you're experiencing some kind of challenge in whatever environment you're in, you need to adapt to it as a population quickly. That epigenetic mechanism works quicker than genetic, right? It takes a while to breed in stuff like that in your nuclear DNA. Judy says PTSD, I believe, is something you previously learned in your last lives. There might be some connection in some cases, yeah. So, and that's the bad thing, because in the case of those mice, right, assuming cherry blossoms were something that needed to be feared, well, their offspring now had a leg up to be afraid of that, right? But unfortunately, epigenetics could have a negative effect because, sometimes it just, it can't filter. It doesn't know the difference, So like, if you're overweight, for example, it seems to epigenetically affect your offspring, makes them more likely to become overweight because it passed that information down. So it can backfire. In the wild, we never had that problem. There weren't overweight people in the wild. They just weren't. So that epigenetic mechanism has no experience with that, doesn't have a mechanism for omitting that, if that makes sense. Epigenetics, yep. It's pretty cool stuff. And that'll be the study of changes in organisms caused by modification of gene expression rather than alteration of the genetic code itself. Epigenetics are transformed the way we think about genomes. Has transformed the way we think about genomes. Yep. Now see, I couldn't express it properly, but there it is. Hyla says, Judy Wheeler, you must have been old in a previous life. Well, I imagine everybody was old in their previous life. They had to get old and die. Oh, the almighty Google. Yeah. But what about the water? You know, if there's memory in the water, like at the lake I used to live at, they pull the water for the town out of the lake. You know, they process it, but you know it's still the same water and it comes out your tap, and a lot of people are drinking that tap water. Well, that water in the lake also contained the sewer water from other towns upstream. I know because, well, everybody knows that, I guess, but I mean, I know it firsthand, up close and personal, because I personally took water samples from the effluent from a wastewater treatment plant upstream of the lake. That effluent was way out of compliance. I mean, it's not supposed to be discharged in that condition. I mean, it was like green paint coming out of there. We turned it over to the environmental Oklahoma DEQ, but anyway, that water came out of some people at some point. That nasty ass water dumped out of that wastewater treatment plant, went down that creek into that lake, got sucked up by the town of Grove, and then come out your faucet. And that water, having come out of those people, is going to have some information stored from those people. Because the molecule, it stores information. Water molecules do that. So just adds another reason why you don't want to do that, besides it just being freaking gross. Why would I have been old and lifeless? I do think there is something to the old soul idea. Dude, we're just playing You Look Good for 73. What the hell? Jeff says, I don't believe PTSD is epigenetic. Everyone's threshold for trauma is different. A kid listening to two parents fight for years, they'll divorce, can PTSD at a higher level than a combat soldier. Yeah. Well, I kind of talked about that. You know, I don't like hearing couples fight because I heard it when I was a kid and it bothered me a lot, I guess. So it still bothers me. But I do think, like, yeah, it's not in every case, but I do think that there may be some cases that it is because of the epigenetic information passed down. Now, not directly, but like, what am I trying to say here? The person, because in their previous life, they experienced a traumatic event, they're predisposed, even though they might not have full-fledged PTSD at birth necessarily, they might have some effects of it though. And then if they experience another traumatic experience, another event such as similar to that, or that they're more likely to develop a renewed PTSD in this life. If I spat that out remotely intelligibly. It's getting late for me, guys. Indeed, I was just being an idiot. Oh, I'm 64 years young. I thought he was just making a joke that in a previous life, it was a previous life, so you died. If you died, you probably got old before you died. uh, so yeah, you were old in your previous life, but you were also young. Uh, Jeff, I did go through that very situation. I've listened. Jeff Harding, good point. Very hard time with that with my parents. Traumatizing. Yeah. Iva says, Jen, old soul for me signifies a being's level of being over worldly things / enlightenment. Yeah. So, hopefully we find out one day more about, why this is, if you, the conscious entity, soul or spirit or whatever you want to call it, has a choice in the matter. Because, I wonder, is it a situation where you don't really have a choice? I mean, some people think that you are actually choosing this, as once you rejoin the whole when you die, you can either choose to come back or not. Well, why would you choose to come back? Or is it something that's not a choice? But, because it kind of sucks here sometimes. And then you got to die. And that sucks. So, I mean, why would you choose to go through that? Like, what's the point? Jeff says, you guys take care. I appreciate the time we spend sharing, thinking. It's refreshing in a world of closed minds. Sweet dreams. You too, Jeff. Probably going to wrap it up anyway. So thanks for dropping by. Sorry about all the bullshit out there. Jen says, old soul can be that, but I think it carries knowledge from your past as well. Indiana here. Jeff, good night. Night, Jeff. Have a good one. Icon says, sweet dreams. Icon says, dying doesn't suck. Who's come back to complain? Hell, I might next time around. Best I can tell, just watching other people die is it sucks. Peace, love, light, friends, good night, sweet dreams, Judy says. Jen, right on, LL. Good point, Lockbeard. Well, I'm fading fast, y'all, so I think we ought to cut it off here, and everybody have a good night. And thanks for coming. I'll see you next time.